Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to Kottabos, a developer vlog. And today we are going to be looking at another arcade game that I made a while back. Again, I made this around the same time that I made last week's game, Testa Orbis, sorry. And this is along the same vein, and it is actually very similar in style, same type of name up at the top here, same menu layout, but slightly different story, premise, and much different gameplay. Now, in the last one you were, in the Testa Orbis laboratories, collecting shards. Now you're in Testa Cursus Reclamation, which is shard disposal rather than shard collection. And the idea of this game is to be sort of an endless runner type game. And again, similar to Testa Orbis, the game I showed you last week, I made this from the ground up, start to finish, as a game that I wanted to put out there to see how that everything goes when releasing a game to the public and not just distributing and having fun amongst friends. So, this is another one I've been wanting to get back to for a while, and one that I would like to put on mobile platforms as well, just like Testa Orbis, but I think this one would actually go onto mobile a bit better. As I said, it is a sort of endless runner style game. Now it has the exact same options that you had in Testa Orbis. Slightly different credits, because I did use especially different music. That's one of the things I improved on this game compared to Testa Orbis. Testa Orbis basically had one song. In reality, it was 4 different songs that were all very similar, and they randomly looped. So, and during a level, it'd start with 1, and then go to 3, and then back to 1, then 4, and so forth. This one, I have a different track for each level that are much longer, more interesting tracks of music that I think fit better. And going back to the credits, the music by Daniel Gooding. Great music. The guy makes some really cool stuff. I was really happy about all the music in this game. And rather than a whole load of handmade levels, all the levels in this game, which there are only 4, are all procedurally generated. Now, this was quite a big thing for me. Like I said with Testa Orbis, every one of the levels in that game is handmade, from models, individual bits and pieces here and there on all the levels to make the game. This I made prefab parts and generate them within each of the levels with varying difficulties. Again, as you can see, we have a picture here just like in Testa Orbis, and this one though you have not only time but also shard count, because again it's an endless runner. So you don't just want to go by time, you also want to see how many shards you collect over that time period, because it never ends. So you just want to keep multiple scores. And the procedural generation part, it creates these platforms that you can see in the picture, as well as these, what I refer to as exhaust vents, that are your obstacles. You run into it, you explode, so, avoid those. And as you go up in difficulty, the platforms start to move in their position, and the exhaust ports move more frequently and start to become more numerous. As you can see from the employee level, the platforms really start to get all wobbly, where you go up to boss, and it's just crazy. My personal best, I just reloaded this game, so it's lost all of my old stuff. But my personal best on boss was only like 45 seconds. So, this one you can essentially, on trainee, go on forever as long as you're even slightly paying attention. So let's just jump into that one real quick to take a look at how the gameplay is on Testa Cursus. Oh, which, yes, again, my, you know, degree coming into play of archaeology and classics. In Latin, this means shard run. So, you know, you're collecting shards, it's an endless runner. I went with that name. I liked it. Yes, let's go into the game now. Have the trainee level. Sort of a nice, calming, not too busy music going on in the background. Though I just noticed, this must be one of my later builds that before... Well, basically, before I was really completely finished, because I just noticed that the music isn't as loud as the menu music is. Yeah, I know in the last build that I made, that I never released, I was playing around with the music levels more to try and, you know, get things to work a bit more nicely together. And yeah, this must have been from that build, which again was quite a while ago, probably about 7 months or so since I last released a version of this to the public. And so yeah, you can see it's a pretty simple game. The platforms generate, so do the exhaust ports. You collect shards, but don't run into the exhaust ports or else this happens. Boom! You exploded. And you get your shard count here. It then shows your best, and then your time and your previous best. And if we restart the level... Another hazard, of course, is falling off of the platforms into that same sort of acid bath that you had in the Testa Cursus game. So if we just fall off, boom! Once again, you exploded. But yeah, that's the basic premise of the game. Platforms get created, so do exhaust ports. Stay on the platforms, dodge the exhaust ports, and collect shards. So let's look at the Intern level. Now, as I said with the difficulty, how difficulty goes up is the platforms start moving around more, as do the exhaust ports. And in this one, yeah, it's still not too bad. It's still a straight line, but you have a slightly smaller area to actually move in, and the exhaust ports are slightly more numerous. So it does get a little more difficult. Let's move on to the next level, the employee level. Now this one, the platform starts to move back and forth. It's not a entirely straight line, but the movement isn't too bad, so you can still make your way across fairly well. Whoop. Alright, and again, the exhaust ports also do get slightly more numerous. It starts to get to be a bit of a challenge in this version, or not in this version, but this level. Especially when you get to parts like that, where it's quite a narrow gap, and if an exhaust port happens to be right in the middle of that narrow gap, it can get a bit interesting. But yeah, you can clear 1 to sometimes even 2 across gaps, like that one. But it's not recommended because you slow down, you get bounced around a bit, and more likely to fall over. Ooh. Boom. So let's check out Boss. This is the final level, and by far the most annoying. Oh, because you have to go across empty space. Ah, that wasn't cool. That wasn't very long. Let's try it again. You have to go across... You have to go across empty space to actually make it through, and I've crashed again. Even I'm not good at this level. Like I said, my personal best for this level was 45 seconds in my old save games that I have of this. So yeah, it gets kind of crazy. I love the music for that level, though. Let's actually head back to Intern to talk about the game a bit more. Now, this game was a big accomplishment for myself, because the whole procedural generation thing was, for me, difficult to figure out. I am by no means an expert coder, so figuring out the whole, okay, let's put something here, then here, then here, then here, and then move it over here, and doing all that procedurally and somewhat randomly. I mean, they have constraints to work within, so like the exhaust ports can only go so far out to the left and right, as can the platforms, though on this level it doesn't make too much of a difference because they're just staggered across. But yeah, it was quite the big accomplishment for me, and something I'm quite proud of, personally. And as for the gameplay, I find it fun. It gets hypnotic after a while. You're just kind of looking up here is your focus, and trying to collect the shards and avoid the exhaust ports. And it's a game I think would work quite well on mobile devices, because you could, you know, probably move in with the accelerometer in the device to control back and forth, or just, you know, since it really is only two controls in the game, a left and right, you could easily add some sort of virtual analog stick. And so yeah, I'm very happy about this game. Honestly, I'm much more happy about this one than I was Testa Orbis. Mainly because of the procedural generation bit. Like I said, that was quite the accomplishment for myself. And so I was very, very pleased with that. And as I said, I think this one would work quite well on mobile. So I really do want to get it onto mobile devices eventually down the road. But before I do that, I need more feedback. I'd like to know what all of you out there think of this game. Any suggestions, comments, feedback you may have, and oh, let's restart. And yeah, anything you might think would be a good addition or something to take away or whatever. I would love to hear anything that you guys might think of this game. Though please be constructive. I do like criticism, but only when constructive, of course. And yeah, and I'll take all of that under consideration as I work to improve and update this game, and eventually put it onto mobile devices. Again, just like with Testa Orbis, this game can be played for free, of course. Even on mobile, I don't think I'd charge for this game. But it can be played for free online, once again, like Testa Orbis, on woogly.com. A link is in the description, so you can go and check it out for yourself. But yeah, I like this game, and I really would love to get this one worked on and out there pretty quickly. I was not paying attention. But yeah, because it's fun, I enjoy it, and I hope you all do as well. And, of course, I hope you did enjoy this episode. Again, please do leave me some comments on this. I would love to hear what you guys think about the game. And I hope you come back for the next episode, because the next one is going to be a game that I'm currently working on, which I still haven't figured out a name for yet, but it is going to be a horror game. So I do hope you guys come to watch the next episode of this to check that out, and you can actually help me along with development on this one, rather than coming back and giving me things to change on a game that's already finished. You can help me figure out how to go about finishing a game that isn't done yet. So, yes. Again, hope you enjoyed. Hope you come back for the next. And as always, my friends, have a good one.